No,
Oh,
what?
are we live?
Oh, shit. Welcome, everyone. My name is Amos Joseph. I'm joined by my co-host, Brook Potter, who is in the UK, myself in Minnesota, and this is the 10K Rum Podcast. How's it going, Brook?
It's going well, Amos. I went out pretty late last night, but I did manage to get a good 8 hours. Didn't get to the gym. Summer's still going. I got a cup of coffee that's not been stirred by the Vortex method. And I'm looking forward to the show today. How are you doing?
Vortex method.
That's an inside joke for people who follow the Sultan. He opens every video stirring the coffee with chopsticks, and it's called the Vortex method. So no, fuck that. I got a spoon. So
Sultan of was it Supercuts or whatever?
Yes. Our friendly neighborhood barber. What's going on with you, Amos? I understood you're feeling a little tired. Are you okay for the show? Do we need to get you some tren or some meth or something?
Exactly. I probably could use a bit of a tan. Look how pale I am. I open up the blinds and all of a sudden the sun comes out. Now I look pale in the camera.
I mean, I thought I was the white dude on this show. I mean, you're giving me a run for my money, actually.
Oh, look. We have the legend Humongous joining us in the stream.
Awesome. Welcome. Good times. So yeah, what's going on with you, Amos? What's happening on that side of the world?
Not much. I mean, we're starting to move into early fall, which is really just another way of saying early winter. You know, knowing how Minnesota is here, winter and fall are pretty much the same season. So starting to see, it's getting darker later in the day. No, sorry, earlier in the day, it's getting dark. We're getting some cooler days. We're getting a lot of rain last couple of days too. Not much beyond that.
Have you considered moving to the potential 51st state of Greenland?
Find me a nice little house in the fjords and.
I mean, you saw this, of course. That your
I heard about this.
Is considering buying Greenland. I think it's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Now, what is Greenland right now? Is it a country?
No, it's a territory of Denmark. It's autonomous, so it has its own flag. It has its own anthem. Autonomy in terms of rule, but it does rely very heavily on subsidies from Denmark. I think to the amount of like 500, close to 600 million, probably US dollars might be the equivalent. But yeah, it's only like 56,000 people living on the island. Unlike the name suggests, it's actually covered in ice. It's mostly, so Iceland is green and Greenland is ice. So it's very bizarre. But yeah, I understand your president is kind of looking into that, which is pretty. Now, that's how conquest should happen financially,
Let's see. Area of, because I'm wondering, what is the area of Greenland?
I think it's at least the size of like Rhode Island.
See, Greenland is no. The surface area.
The surface area.
836,000 square miles.
Oh, okay, that's bigger than
I was going to say Rhode Island is a
lot smaller. I think that's the smallest state, isn't it?
It is the smallest state.
Yeah. It's one of the 13 colonies. I think that's probably on par with Alaska then, which was the last purchase.
200,000 more miles
in Alaska.
No, in Greenland.
Oh, so Greenland would, if that were to actually happen, Greenland would be the biggest state.
Be the biggest territory.
Territory, yeah.
Before they become a state. But that'd be interesting, Imagine that history lesson in a few years where kids will be like, so, they'll talk about, well, what were the last two states? And they'll say, well, Alaska and Greenland.
Yeah, just like Puerto Rico, but which has been petitioning for quite some time now.
Well, I don't get it. It's like on one hand, people will like, especially with the left, and then with the hurricane that happened there and everything. It's like with all the relief and all the whatever perceived fuck up that Puerto Rico was with their relief efforts. One hand, they're like, there's a whole bunch of corruption there. I don't know if you saw. I think it was like they sent a whole bunch of water there.
Yes,
and then
for the hurricane relief,
and not everyone got it.
I think they found them stored at an offsite facility.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of water.
Yeah, politically, somebody sabotaged the president and the FEMA relief. Yeah, no, that's despicable.
Like, why do you? I mean, I'm not, not to expect like the states or possible states to give like sort of their undying loyalty to the federal government, but come on, like, what kind of statement does it present when it's just commonplace to find your own, like the territory being like sabotaging relief efforts?
It's its own people just to get political points on the president.
Yeah, and then get found out about it and then not really do much about it.
No, I agree. I mean, but to be fair, the federal government has really fucked over Puerto Rico. The minimum wage laws has decimated the economy in Puerto Rico. Unemployment, I think, is probably the highest, in what would be considered the U.S. empire, for want of a better word. Yeah, and I mean, basically, it's all subsidies. As all of these kind of territories and stuff like that, they just suck off the tit of the motherland for as much money as they can get, and as long as you pay them and feed them and give them, nice girls to look at and food, for the most part, they stay very happy,
Yeah.
But Greenland, though, Greenland would be such a, oh my God, if he did that. I know Denmark says they're not interested in selling. But I know, I think, well, apparently Truman tried to buy Greenland back in 1946, if I'm not mistaken, for $100 million US, and they said it wasn't for sale. But right now, maybe, I mean, it could be a negotiating tactic, but Denmark says they're not interested in discussing that. But Trump is going to a state visit in Denmark in a couple months, I think. We shall see, won't we?
Yeah, I guess it's been a while since any country has really bought land, has it?
Well, I think Alaska was the last. No, actually, it was Alaska. And actually, you guys have bought the Danish West Indies, which is now the U.S. Virgin Islands. You all bought that from Denmark as well. So this is not unprecedented.
Well, I'm more looking at like on the world stage, what other countries have done purchases?
Yeah. I don't think there are too many I could think of. Apart from, well, I mean, you don't really count China because they're making islands in the South Pacific. I don't think that counts. But
right.
I mean, if you're going to build empire, Trump is right. This is the way you do it. You buy it, which is why we don't have wars again. But it's brilliant. What do you think of it, man? I mean, would you go to the 51st state?
Probably. I don't know, man. You never know what you might find there. I mean, if it's going to be mainly, I mean, when they buy the land, are the would it be Danish?
No, they're Greenlanders.
But people from Denmark.
Well, yeah, it would be Danes. Yeah.
Would there be actual dames there? Women. if the women there are definitely live up to that reputation of just being like most of the European women in that region, might as well.
Yeah. The Viking women are pretty hot, man. I must admit to that. So wouldn't be a bad choice.
But they are kind of tall, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at a disadvantage, but you're not. I don't see why you can't get in there. Get in there, man, and mash it up.
Your island is coming out.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I recognize my shortcomings. I can't do anything about it. I'd make the most of it, but you have no excuses.
I'm not that much taller than you.
How tall are you, Amos?
5'9".
5'9", right? I'm 5'7", so it's like 2 inches. Probably with shoes, maybe I'm 5 foot. But hey, that's actually a very huge thing, right? Like I think anything under like 5'8" is basically considered like below average, and so I'm like just below that threshold. So you're good. You're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Wait till you get to Thailand. You'll see how good a spot you're in.
Not quite a manlet, as they say.
No. I mean, people say I'm not even trying,
Now, I saw you were posting some videos and pictures of a show you went to yesterday.
Oh, yes. I went out to basically a car meet. I don't know if the Americans use the same phrase for that. But basically, this is kind of left a thing that a lot of young kids do when they get their first car. They all congregate in these very large garages. Well, not garages, like parking lots. And they just park up. They play music. Everybody looks at each other's cars and admires it and stuff like that. And it's a free thing, So like a lot of young kids who don't have money, they want something to do on a Friday or a Saturday. They go out to these events. And I got a couple of friends that have been inviting me religiously every weekend. Like, do you want to come out to the car meet? Do you want to come out to the car meet? And I mean, my Fridays and Saturdays, I generally have things to do, which involve, me drinking or partying and trying to get into some young lady's pants. So, after much relentless, they kind of stopped asking for a while. And then they reintroduced it now a couple months later. Like previously, I had a girlfriend before and all that other stuff. So didn't have anything planned for this weekend. And they asked, and I said, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And they were both shocked. They actually called me on the phone like, did you just say yes? Like, you want to come along? So I said, yeah, it's two guys. One is very young. He's like 22. The other guy, he's like 33. And, really good guys, hanging out with them. They're both kind of in the same business. Just awesome fellas. And so we made the plan. And then my friend, the lady in her plans, showed up. The lady in her plans, for those who've been following the stream, this is a friend of mine. You can find her on Instagram by that handle. And she said she wanted to come along. So I said, yeah, cool. I asked the guys and stuff like that. And they like, yeah, because one of the guys was bringing his girlfriend. So, it's good to have more female company. And so we went to two of them. We picked her up about 9. My friend, we went for dinner first. We went for a durum in Enfield, which is a fantastic Turkish wrap. It's one of the best things I've ever eaten. And we went out to this. First, it was kind of like a strip mall, so it wasn't a very big location. And they didn't really have a lot of cars there. There's a lot of young teenagers. I saw like the old Evolutions, Evolution 4, Evolution 5, the Subaru STIs. I think the best car that I saw there was I think it was an E-Series Mercedes Benz that was tuned by Brabus, which is like a specialized tuning company just for that brand. Like AMG is their sports line, and Brabus takes AMG to like the other level. Like this is like street racing kind of thing. I mean, that was very impressive to see. And of course, out here in the UK, they do a lot of the wraps. So they wrap the cars and instead of painting the car, they do these plastic and latex whatevers. So you get very funky designs and all these different types of things. So that was really cool. And then we moved across to another one, which was, I think, up in Harlow. Much bigger event. It was in an Asda car park. They actually had a couple police officers there. It was so big that, in fact, they had enough room for people to do some burnouts, even to do some donuts and drifting in a small area and stuff like that.
Is that lots? Legal?
I mean, as long as it's not on the public road, there's not really anything they can do. You're in a private car park, technically.
Wow. Because that's illegal here.
I'm sure you can't even do it on the private land, right?
Not in a parking lot. So
not in a parking lot, yeah.
So there was a kid, I've heard of this before. They said there've been kids like they go to a high school parking lot, like their high school, and they'll do donuts and burnouts like in the parking lot, in an empty parking lot. Yeah, and cops that drive by can write you a ticket for reckless driving.
I think if it's just you, yes. But if it's a mob of people there, that's a little more difficult to contain.
Because I'm thinking, if you guys can do that and kind of get away with it, and it's illegal here,
yeah,
But you guys
score one for the UK and freedom. Yes, finally.
But you guys have fucking, offensive speech laws.
Yeah, we have hate speech laws. Yeah.
Jesus.
Breathing licenses. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
You guys' licensing, your laws are all fucked up. Like, you can do burnout in a parking lot, which we can't do.
Yeah. I'm sure it's very much like how it is in the US. Every state is different. I think in Essex, the area that I'm in, where Harlow was, I think it's a little more car friendly. Like, London hates cars. London has, like, you own a car, well, fuck you and fuck your family, and we're going to charge you more for rent, to park. Even if you don't drive the car, we're going to charge you money. There's a war on cars coming out of London. And there's like the ultra low emissions. It's like £12 a day just to have the car in the area if it's earlier than 2016. Just ridiculous stuff. Essex is a different county, and I think it's a little more car friendly because we don't have great transportation out here, public transport. So they're a little more lenient. And I'll be honest, the police were at this event. But just one cop car driving through, and people were actually heckling the cop car to like do a burnout, right? Like to launch the car, and it was fine. Like, nothing came of that. But yeah, that was pretty much how I spent my evening. And even my friend, he has a BMW 3 Series from, I think, probably 2006, an older car. It's automatic, and he actually managed to drift that car, which is very hard to do with. I've never been able to do a drift with an automatic car. He pulled it off, man. And I think somebody's got video footage of that. But the most impressive thing that I saw, it was an absolutely stunning Aston Martin. I have a picture of it in my on my Instagram. I mean, that is an exotic piece of machinery right there. And like, we have car meets in Trinidad and Tobago that I used to go to. But in Trinidad, it's very much body modification, right? So, I mean, probably very, very similar to what you always see in like the Mexican community, where, they sometimes jump the cars and they have exotic paint jobs and accessories and lots of music and all that kind of stuff. Which is, that's kind of what I expect. But it wasn't like that at all. It was a lot of stock cars, very few exotics. A couple of them had some really funky paint jobs. There was one, I think it was a Fiat 500 with a beautiful purple paint job, one of those kind of rainbow colored paint jobs, and it had Cadbury's written on the side, which is a chocolate brand out here in the UK.
I see a picture of that one.
Oh, you see it? I see it. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. It was really pretty, I have to say. And they had a Bath, which is the same thing. A Bath is a high level tuning car company. And they take like exotic cars, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, Maybachs, and whatever, and they tune them up. And for shits and giggles, they took basically the smallest car they can find, which is the Fiat 500, and they just said, "Well, fuck it, we're just gonna, turn this into like a completely insane, road raging car." And they had a lot of those out there. These really tiny. It's almost like, it's not a mini, but it's like that kind of thing, with ridiculous horsepower, and that was really funny to see. So, had a good time. The lady and her plants and my friend got off really, really well. She even offered to give him a ride in her little car, which is a Mitsubishi Icon or something. It's basically a paperweight. But yeah, they got on really well. I thought she was gonna take him home and like, ride the shit out of him at one point and be like, all right, just drop me home first, But he's not 6 foot, so.
Huh. Well, definitely sounds like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think outside of London, the UK has a great respect for cars. And we do like track days as well, where if you wanted to drive a very exotic car, like a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, Aston Martin, Maserati, you can pay money, like £100 and something for the day, and you go out and there's a track, and you get to pick one of these exotic cars. You jump in it with an instructor, and they will let you do a couple of rounds on the track, just to say you've done it, So they got out R8s and every kind of car that you could imagine. So that's very popular outside of London. London is pretty shit for all that kind of stuff, though. But Yeah, it's all part of the territory.
The damn Londoners.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's like a whole other country. There is a movement out here to declare independence to London. London's secession movement is actually a thing.
I think you've told me about how, like, was it London itself? Like, there's a section within London that is some sort of entity unto itself.
Yeah, the city of London is the city inside the city in the town called London, in the city called London. So there's London, and then there's the city of London. They're two different things. The city of London is known as the Square Mile. It's a leftover Roman outpost from over 1,000 years ago. It predates King Harold and William the Conqueror and all these other people, and it's just been there forever. And basically, an agreement was struck between, I think it's William the Conqueror and, well, who was ever ruling the city of London. They said, all right, you acknowledge me as king, and we basically leave you alone. Right? That's what it was. But in our parliament, there is somebody called the Remembrancer, and their job is basically to make sure that the legislation in the rest of the country does not fuck up the city of London, right? Their sole responsibility is to keep the laws of the rest of the country out of this square mile, right? So it is literally like this country unto itself in the middle of the city. So it's a bit of a tax haven. It has a very complicated voting system. Even the Queen of the UK, she needs permission from the Lord Mayor of London, of the City of London, to enter the City of London. It's the most bizarre thing. But I mean, it's a home to all the conspiracy theories, because I think it has like one of the world's oldest Masonic lodges. All of the lizard people hypothesis and all kind of comes in the City of London.
Ooh.
Yeah, they think all the Rothschild money and all that stuff is flowing through here.
What about Sadiq Khan?
So Sadiq Khan is the mayor of London, right? So there's the Lord Mayor of the City of London is two different guys, two different administrations, two different parliaments, two different buildings, two different police forces, two different city crests. So the City of London had like a crest unto itself.
Walk in and out of there freely, though, right?
Oh yeah. There's no checks or anything like that. You just see banners and stuff like that saying, welcome to the City of London, and the symbol is a shield with a dragon. But the thing is, they own most of the major landmarks in London, like London Bridge, Tower Bridge, the Shard. They control Epping Forest, which is up here. So even though it's a corporation, the entire thing is a corporation. It expands beyond the borders of the square mile. So it's a very, very bizarre.
Is there like a visible border when you approach it?
Not anymore. There's a bit of the Roman wall that is left, and they've kind of preserved that, but there's no foreseeable. The only difference you'll notice outside of the City of London, you got the Queen's crest. So if ever you come to London, you will see the crown. Literally, it's a crown on the mailboxes, on the telephone booths, on different stuff like that. But the minute you cross into the City of London, it's no longer the crown; it's this dragon with a shield, and it just says "Welcome to the City of London." So the police have a different outfit. All the buses, everything pass through it normally and everything like that. But it is a individual province within.
London. Are there even like there are no buildings that are split between the City of London and London, though, are there?
No, I don't know. There's nothing like that. I mean, the borders are pretty well understood. The borders are basically where the wall used to be. And of course, as I say, they buy things outside of that. So the Shard is not in the city, which is, I think, the tallest building in Europe. But it is controlled and operated by it's not owned by the City of London, but they're kind of involved in that, in like the tourist aspects of it. Tower Bridge, which everybody mistakenly calls London Bridge, the one that up and down sort of thing, they own that, as well as the actual London Bridge. They own that as well. So yeah, it's a very bizarre piece of history. I thought it was fascinating when I heard about it the first time. And it was pretty surreal to actually go out there and you see it. You see "Welcome to the City of London," and everything's it's just little differences, but it's very, very fascinating.
Roman Outpost. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I think back when we talked about this, I looked it up again.
I think CGP Grey, which is a YouTuber, he did a very good breakdown on the City of London, if anybody's really interested.
You've been in there?
Oh, yeah. I used to have a couple meetings in there because I had a lot of trader friends in the city, and sometimes we'd meet there. A couple of the big banks are out there. The Bank of, I don't think the Bank of, was the Bank of England? I can't know if the Bank of England was in there, but a couple of the big ones were out there. It's a lot of the iconic landmarks as well, like the Gherkin, and which is, it's a big penis building. A lot of those buildings are out there as well. So it's pretty cool.
So when you go, so people that live in there,
mm-hmm.
Who are they?
Well, yeah, they're British, they're English. They don't get like a unique citizenship, but the voting is very different because people who don't live in the area vote there because their voting includes all the workers as well as the companies, the corporations that are established there, because that's really how they make their money, right? So they're very pro-business, very business-friendly sort of thing. And then there's a whole complicated thing because they have guilds, and you have to become like a free man to be able to enter these guilds and be submitted, so like the candle makers used to have one, the butchers. That's where Freemason came from, is that the Masons did not follow all the rules, so they were considered Freemasons. So there's all this kind of stuff. It's ancient. It's really interested if people are into that kind of thing. It's a deep rabbit hole. I haven't even scratched the surface of it, to be honest, but it's a lot of fun.
Now, how much would it cripple the UK if the City of London broke off?
That would pretty much fuck us, because a lot of the banking business, the whole reason Europe wants, why it's in Europe's interest to give the UK a deal, is because of the City of London. It is the most powerful financial center in the world because of this autonomy. It used to be Switzerland with their numbered bank accounts, but regulation has crushed that. The City of London, and you'd hear that people need access to the city. That's like when they're doing the talking points and stuff like that about the Brexit negotiations. It's ridiculously powerful how this place operates. So, yeah. It's the reason why nobody's actually going to leave London after Brexit, because nobody wants to fucking go anywhere, because it's just so cool, right? Everything you could want, everything you could need, all of the money, everything is flowing through London, right? London could declare independence from the UK tomorrow, and everybody's still going to stay there because it's London. That's what it is, center of power for all of this financial business. It's pretty cool.
No wonder the Illuminati are there. No.
Yeah. They think all of those conspiracies, the Rothschilds, the Illuminati, the lizard people, every kind of conspiracy, has its origins in the City of London. It's pretty wild.
There aren't any like crazy like symbols around there that like people are digging into, are there?
I don't think so. I mean, the dragon is very common in English law. The St. George's Cross is very common as well. I don't know of any kind of symbolism, not even like in the construction. Like people could point to Washington, D.C. and basically see that it's a pentagram kind of layout. It's, everything kind of centers from. I mean, you could look at it that way, kind of thing. The French architect who designed the city did that on purpose, right? London predates all of that. Sorry, the City of London predates all of that. So there wasn't even really the occult, right? There was nothing there. So I don't really think there was much of that going on.
Oh, boy.
There could be. I'm not well connected in the city, so I don't know.
I'd be worried if you were. No.
Yeah, probably. I probably wouldn't be able to do this podcast.
I was about to say, by the way, everyone, we'll have to we get Jacksepticeye just put out a video on another Minecraft video. So we're gonna have to end this. I'm just kidding. End the stream early.
I mean, the Minecraft thing has been pretty wild.
Yeah, I saw H3H3.
Is he doing Minecraft videos now?
No. He did so there was a
Thank
clip
God.
that popped up from his podcast, just him and his wife, and they were talking about like the changes that have been going on with YouTube. They
Yes.
talked about like YouTubers just getting completely screwed. Oh, what's his name? Ninja, some Twitch streamer.
Okay.
He got into like he just lost just a shit ton of subscribers, and obviously that's like a lot of money that he's losing too on Twitch. So they were talking about like kind of like platforms that are kind of screwing over creators, but the little ray of sunshine they threw in there was like you have people like PewDiePie, thanks to the Minecraft thing. He's seen huge surges in viewership, subscribers. They said pretty much the views he's been getting this last couple weeks has been like the most he's ever gotten, like ever.
Yeah. That's probably true.
And pretty much, and then also the whole 100 million subscribers that he's going to be hitting here pretty soon. He said he's going to do a 12-hour Minecraft.
Yeah.
Well, so on his subreddit for the why that he does,
yes.
that people have said, once PewDiePie hits 100 million, everyone unsubscribe and resubscribe, so he'll hit 100 million twice. So you can do a 24-hour stream. Have you ever like looked back at old PewDiePie videos?
I mean, I only subscribed to PewDiePie probably last year with the whole T-Series thing. So yeah.
Some old videos of his like 2 or 3 years ago like popped up on my recommended, and I'm like, let's watch old PewDiePie. Holy edgelord! Like
he was edgy, wasn't he?
Really? I mean,
back in the day,
the swearing was a lot more. He seemed just as the persona he presented was a lot more erratic and unstable.
Right.
He did this video called like kind of the tip like smash or pass.
Right.
So he'd go through like YouTubers and chicks like, would you smash or would you pass? And then he just looked like he was on something.
Really.
The color, just the color of the video, the way he looked. Granted, he had a different hairstyle. He just looked like, but now he's, people are kind of like giving him crap, like, oh, like, he's playing into people's hands. He's trying to be all family friendly. And
of course he is. Aren't we all?
Well, I see what they're trying to say, but at the same time, it's like, well, he hasn't like, I think he's just evolved over the years. Granted, yes, he is changing what he's putting out there, but at the same time, it is there. I think he's probably been kind of not, probably knocked down a peg or two or something by media. Right. So he's really trying to keep an eye on like what he's doing. He does these collaboration Minecraft videos, and him or the guy he has on will pop out a bad word.
Yeah.
And he'd let it slide, but he'd be like, hey, no, like he kind of jokingly says like no swearing on the channel.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. Anyways, but
have you heard about one of the original YouTube partners? Hold on, give me a minute. I think his name is Mean Kitty. The Mean Kitty, that's it. He's leaving YouTube. Just straight up. Guy's got like 3 million subscribers, and he put out a video recently basically saying that YouTube, he just like 90% of his audience has evaporated. And he's not putting out controversial stuff. He's not putting out political commentary like some of us. And he's just like, I've got to do what's best for my family. And he feels abandoned by YouTube's algorithms and the new way things are being done. And yeah, that's it. He's kind of called it quits. And he was in the original, like handpicked.
I remember back
original partners.
The way you were recommended videos or the way you were searching for was like basic. The algorithms, I guess, they had back then was just very basic, like search engine type stuff.
Correct.
Oh, you tend to search these types of things, so we'll show you these types of videos.
Yes.
And YouTubers could get away with. I remember even like, hey, if you got a video that got like so many views, we're gonna start paying you for those views.
Yeah, early on. Like I was monetized before
straight, like it was just like a flat rate kind of thing. Maybe if you reach a certain milestone, they'd say, okay,
I think it was 100 subscribers. If you hit 100 subscribers, you were eligible for monetization.
One thing I remember, so my dad had a YouTube channel where he would just put out and he did stuff with like teaching English and teaching Chinese. And one of his videos got like a couple 100,000 views.
Yeah.
It was just a video of my siblings, like, talking about like counting or something, counting in Chinese. Actually, it was like a couple tens of thousands of views. And so he gets an email from YouTube that's basically like, hey, do you want to be a partner? He's like, yeah, whatever. I'll and then they'll send him like whatever revenue. And it was just like that. It was just simple. It was just straightforward. Hey, you get this many views. You got this kind of exposure. Here's a partnership. Now it's like all these stipulations, all these rules, and all this, that, and the other. And it's like, and then the algorithms can screw you over if you're not doing it right. Even like big time, even somewhat big YouTubers with 100,000, couple 100,000 subscribers, they're starting to see like dips in income.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
I completely agree. Completely agree. I mean, yeah, the thing is, I've answered a number of YouTube surveys. I get them because I am part of the partners program. My channel is monetized. But the amount of work that I have to put in to do that, to get, to basically appease the algorithm gods, it's 3 videos a week, at least 10 minutes long. So I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, that's a hell of a lot. Now, I don't have massive subscribers. Yeah. I think I'm at just over 1,700, like just under 1,800. And I mean, some of my videos have done pretty well. I've got 2 of them that are over 60,000 views. Just so, I mean, it's not bad. I appreciate all the monetization and whatever, but it's a lot of work. So I have to start increasing the streaming. I have to start, doing at least 2 videos. I have to start pulling clips. I got, just to appease these things. Who the fuck has time for all that? It just so happens, yes, I'm a trader and I can make time, but fucking hell, man, who's got time for that?
Remember when someone would just put out like 1 video?
Yeah.
In a year,
and they'll get like ridiculous subscribers and it goes viral.
Yeah, and then they'll be making like, I don't know exactly how much they'd make, but it would get like, like you had people who are, I guess, the equivalent of like a one-hit wonder.
Yes.
Or people that could just get away with putting out 1 or 2 videos, every so often, and they'd get, all the money pretty much.
Yeah.
Or at least a good amount of money. I mean, what's his name? I bet even JonTron.
Yeah.
He did like 1 video every month.
Yeah.
And people liked him. But now that he's like not, he's not appeasing the algorithms, probably doesn't get heard of as much.
And this is, Sticks and Hammers talked about this as well, that if you're not getting new blood, right? So my original channel on my Christian teaching channel, I think it's 2012 I started that. So my first video was out at that time, and I used to put out a video 2 a month kind of thing, but I had organic growth, and it got up to, I think now it's up to like 500, but it took a long, like I stopped putting content there just because I can't afford to do both channels to try and appease the algorithm. This one, at least my own, is making money, so that's my major focus, and I send token videos on that side. But yeah, it's for somebody trying to get started in this, it's very obvious that YouTube is not backing creators anymore. They are appeasing advertisers.
I remember, even my, teaching channel.
Yeah.
It was like 60 subscribers. I had videos that could get a couple 100 views.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even really putting out that much of an effort.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's like we'll just say with this channel, with doing this, the podcast, we have to put, we're starting to do the more of the video clips, the streams, and it's still kind of very, very, very slowly moving along.
Yeah, which is why, this will appease the algorithms. We do 2 streams a week plus some clips over 10 minutes long. So that's at least appeases that aspect of the algorithm. So that's hopefully we should start seeing.
We talk about politics, so
that was what I was about to say. So hopefully the clips get suggested as long as they're not too controversial.
Yeah,
that hasn't been the case. I've only pulled out controversial stuff for the clips, but what I was saying about Sticks and Hammer is that if you don't have new eyeballs coming in, so my original channel, a couple people from that might be dead. A couple people from that aren't really like following Christian material anymore. They might have unfollowed me. So the only way you get growth is by getting new subscribers, and you need suggestions. You need to be shared. If somebody's listening to one thing and then it follows on to the next thing, and that might be one of your videos and stuff like that. If you don't have constant new blood coming in, yeah, even if you have 500,000 subscribers, your channel can die because people move on. People die. People lose interest in YouTube. People move to other platforms. So the subscribers you have is no guarantee that you're getting the kind of exposure that you might want. I mean, look at this channel. We got like 180 people subscribe to this channel. And we get about 10% of that, initial views coming in. So 10 to 20% of that is watching our videos, right? I mean, we have different numbers on the podcast itself, but so we're reaching 10% of our audience with what we're doing. What the fuck is that even the case? Like, some people don't even get notified when we're putting stuff out, right? And of course, you got to pay for that. And it's just too much work. It's every time I fill out a survey from YouTube, I always say it's a shit platform. I really would rather not have to deal with YouTube. It is the only reason I'm here is because it's the biggest audience. Everybody else doesn't have the audience that YouTube has. But if somebody else had the audience, I'd say, fuck YouTube. I don't want to deal with this shit because they've sold out just for the advertisers. And all of these features and, like the live streaming, the chat and all of this other kinds of stuff, trying to appease people. No, that's putting a Band-Aid on the wound sort of thing,
Someone would do very well to interview the creators of YouTube.
The original creators before
see Google. What they think about this.
Yeah, maybe they're creating YouTube too. I don't know. Hopefully that'd be good. I think I'm also on BitChute, I think. Yeah, at least it's automatic. When I upload it to YouTube, it goes straight to BitChute. So that's pretty cool.
But I'm just saying, though, I wonder what they'll think about like the algorithms, because I bet anyone who knows who they are, I don't even know who they are. Someone could do very well to like do some sort of a let's see, 3 former PayPal employees, Chad, Steve, and Jawed. Google bought the site in 2006. Wow. They bought it within just a little over a year.
Yeah. When they recognized that video was the future, that's somebody had foresight, but it's despicable. Like when I look at my timeline now, it's all fucking news channels. It's CNN and MSNBC, both of which are basically cancer. Like, why would I want to watch cancer? The BBC. I mean, just pure fucking propaganda. Why is this coming up on my rack? So I always do not feature me this channel. Do not feature me this channel. I do not want to see this channel ever again. That's just kind of my attitude. So, and it's becoming frustrated. If there really was another platform, I would switch in a heartbeat. But this is the biggest game in town.
Let's just hope Pornhub does better.
We might have to shift careers.
No, Pornhub is hosting videos in general, though. They're hosting.
Oh, really? They're doing regular. That now?
I think didn't we talk about this?
Not Pornhub, no.
I thought, something about how Pornhub was it was a lot of these gun channels,
right?
Or basically seeing a huge dip in growth and subscribers and even views. So I think someone reached out to Pornhub to see if they could get if Pornhub would host them, and he said, "Oh yeah, we have some pretty good profit sharing and stuff to like work with you. And if you want to, have your videos on here, we'd totally love to have, gun channels.
That's pretty cool. I had no idea.
So granted, it's going to be tough if we're like, all right, if you want to, check us out on Pornhub,
yeah, we might be streaming there live,
yeah,
imagine
that'll be a
discussing that at Christmas dinner. Yeah.
So how's the podcast been going? Wow, yeah, it's going really
picked
good.
up by Pornhub. I knew you always had it in you, Amos.
Yeah, that's gonna be a what? Yeah, porn site. Yeah.
I mean, thank God for porn sites, man. Just they're saving the creators out there, because it's really bad for YouTube.
I think I remember Bunty King actually did some live streams with porn stars before. You ever see that?
I haven't seen Bunty King's stuff in a very long time. The last thing I saw was him on Hapa Supremacy, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, he back when he was still doing a lot of political commentary on his channel, he was doing videos where he would do live streams with these like cam girl types. It was some show. It was just him and a bunch of porn stars, and they were just talking about whatever, I forgot. But it was like some little side thing he was doing.
Right.
So
on YouTube? That was on YouTube?
I think it was on some other channel, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. More power to him. I haven't heard much about Bunty King. I mean, we're not really following, that community much anymore.
I gotta listen to Chris. Like Chris Reagan will do videos now, but he's even moving away from political commentary. Who else? Shuan Head every now and then she's doing a video. And then you have Blair
with over
White.
1 million subscribers.
Blair White is more. Well, she's a lot more drama on that channel than I would like to see.
Yeah, I haven't watched a Blair White video in a long time.
She got into a debate with that Jessica Yaniv person, the
trans kids woman,
the trans person who wanted to have their balls waxed.
Oh, right. My balls. Okay.
Got into a debate with him. Got into a debate with that person, and it kind of went sideways. Then that person actually doxed Blair White, like
really
address, like home address, phone number.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Like Blair White's phone blew up. I don't think anyone approached her house, but definitely was out there. And then this person then went out and like, oh, I totally own it. Like enough of a backlash came that Jessica Yaniv basically said, yeah, I own up to this. I'm so sorry. And Blair, this is whole drama now. Blair's like, no, I'm like gonna get you, like I'm gonna sue you for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's a whole little thing. And
cool. I mean, I think that's necessary though, because these activists, online keyboard warriors, they think they could just do anything and get away with it.
Yeah. Surprising.
Definitely, I'm scorched earth on these kind of people. Like, all right, you fuck with me, I will burn it all down.
Yeah. That whole community is kind of different now, isn't it?
As I say, I don't really follow it, right?
There's the skeptic community, as we kind of, the meme of it it doesn't really exist anymore. No, you have really. Andy and Chris Worski.
Oh, well, Andy Worski has gone absolutely batshit.
Yeah, I don't even know what the heck he's doing. Chris just disappeared.
Yeah. The channel I Think I'm Real actually did a very good depiction of the rise, fall, and collapse of Worski.
And it's pretty bad. He doesn't even have like a large subscribership, but Worski apparently was like caught wind of it and was like, because I Think I'm Real basically was connected with a lot of these people because people liked his content, but he just wasn't growing that much.
Correct. And he's kind of picking a fight, as sometimes you do that helps build the subscriber base.
But he's not wrong in his assessment.
That's what I was about to say. He's not doing it for scandal. He's doing it kind of like, it's quite incredible how far these people have fallen. Yeah. So Worski, no idea. Yeah, the Worskis are kind of out of it.
Even I Think I'm Real kind of just dropped off too.
Yeah.
Chris Reagan doesn't do political stuff as much anymore.
I haven't watched a Reagan video in a long time.
The only person that's really stayed on track to really keep doing anything has been Sargon.
Yeah. Well, Sargon has gone full political, right? He actually ran for the European Parliament with UKIP. And so he's gone headlong into it. And I still watch Sargon. I think because I've been out here in the UK, I'm not as interested in what's going on in the US like I used to be. When I was out in Trinidad and Tobago, the US was the thing to watch, for insight into the political arena. So out here, I've shifted. So Sargon, I still watch. I still watch Steven Crowder. His Change My Mind series has been pretty good. I haven't watched a Reagan. I haven't watched nothing from Worski since the Comite, where it was the fucking bloodbath and the one I used to like. What was the German guy who was
Kraut and
T? Yeah, I actually unsubscribed from his channel the other day. I mean, nothing. His early stuff was good, and then he kind of got weird as well. It's just I'm not interested. Uzulu, I met Uzulu when I went out to the meetup in London. Just not that interesting,
Yeah. YouTube is actually kind of taking a shit, if anything, in that way. Because a lot of these creators have basically struggled so much that they've gone to go do other things.
Some of them have.
They've had to fall back onto other plans, which is actually a kind of a bad thing because YouTube just wasn't welcoming to them. I mean, you have people that have definitely created alternative means to basically make money. You have Patreon that's kind of helping some people. You have, but then and then there was that whole debacle.
Where they removed Sargon and
then you have so then you have merch, and then you have Subscribestar, which is kind of helping some people.
Yes,
but you really need to be someone like Crowder or Shapiro with like a subscribe service.
Correct.
To really keep in the game. And even that is, I mean, like Shapiro on some of the stuff, like Crowder on some of the stuff, but it's still lacking somewhere. Like you still don't have, you can't have, a lot of these YouTubers who are just on their own, they can't really sustain anything. So they're all just,
I mean, it's pocket money at this point, right? I don't have a very big channel. I get maybe 100 US a month. At least I did when my one of my videos was suggested and it got over 70,000 views. That used to pay me. I don't think I'm getting that anymore because I see I haven't hit that threshold and we're almost coming to the end of the month. So it's pocket money. People are making what they used to. You really got to diversify your income and stuff like that. And it's ruined a lot of people's lives. A lot of these people used to live off YouTube. I think the king of that is, was it Andy the Agent? That does like all of these live streams and people pay money and to like say loud offensive shit over the loudspeakers of his house.
Running type stuff. Yep.
Yeah. He has made a fucking art out of getting monetized.
I mean, he literally just does stuff for the money now.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, of course you do. Bro, that's the only reason I'm putting out content on my video. I have no idea how to fill 3 videos a week.
But I mean, it's not like we're going to go out there and do a live stream of us sleeping.
Yeah, I'm not going to do what he did, but he gets away with it. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, look up Asian Andy. He has some really fucking crazy shit that he does.
He did so when he would sleep, people would donate, like doing a text to speech to like wake him up.
It was like a 12-hour live stream
of him sleeping, and it's just him just getting trolled by all the viewers. He made like what, $3,000?
Something like that. I think a pretty substantial amount of money in one day.
One
But
night.
I mean, yeah, one night. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of level of crazy you got to be dedicated. And he can't do anything else, right? It's kind of like the Mia Khalifa thing. She can't do anything else, right? Now that she's out of porn. It's the same thing. Like your reputation, the crazy shit that you've got to go through to make it on YouTube, you kind of fuck yourself for doing anything else. At least not visually. You could probably create a pseudonym in the background and do something, behind the scenes. But no, it's really bad. It's really bad for a lot of these guys. I feel sorry for them. I mean, there was a time you could do movie reviews, you could do whatever, and you could make some decent money before the first adpocalypse. And then everything got cut in half, and now it's even worse. And as they say, some people are going to sue YouTube for what is basically amounting to the destruction of their business. It is a business. So yeah. I mean, I've completely sold out and be like, all right, look, I want to fucking make some money off this thing. I'm going to put out whatever the fuck I think I could talk about for 10 minutes. I'm just going to say it.
So you remember the whole video effects kind of group of YouTubers?
Oh yeah.
Freddie Wong,
and who was another one? That's the biggest one I remember.
There was Corridor Digital.
Yeah.
There were a couple other ones like all connected with him too.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all kind of fallen. I mean, they're still performing.
Yeah.
In some way, but you don't hear about them as much anymore.
I mean, it's the same thing with the Minecraft people, like Yogscast. I used to watch a lot, just because it was funny. Those like Lewis and I can't remember the other guy's name. They were really funny to watch. Their series Shadow of Israfel, funniest thing I'd ever seen. I almost died laughing watching that. And it started off as like an innocuous, Minecraft video learning how to play it, and they created this giant storyline out of nowhere. Like, what the hell is going on? And it was brilliant. They now have Simon. Simon is the other guy's name. Yeah, the dwarf. They are pumping out ridiculous content. They now have a team of people. I think it's like 6 or 7 of them, all of which are doing live streams, or the gaming, at least a video a day. They've got like an editing team, and they're pumping out content ridiculously to try and under the umbrella of Yogscast. So the Yogscast is the head thing, and everybody's below that to try and make money off of YouTube. And they got other stuff. I think they made some silly songs that you could get on iTunes. They've made some merch. They're doing the full thing. But it's a hell of a lot of work. A hell of a lot of work.
To stay relevant.
Right. So a lot of these guys have switched over to Twitch. Right? If you're doing gaming, YouTube has lost the gaming momentum on, generally speaking. A lot of these guys have gone over to Twitch. So Sips, for instance, he was with the Yogscast, still is. He does streaming on Twitch, I think pretty much every weekend, like Saturday and Sunday. And people donate money. Just everything YouTubers copied, they copied from Twitch. So the chats, the tips, all of that kind of stuff. But that's where they actually get an audience. They build their audience there. And then later they rip that and put it on YouTube as an afterthought. So yeah, YouTube in that respect has lost the gamers in a large respect. They've lost the content creators. They've lost animators, because who the fuck can animate 3 videos a week to keep these algorithms like going? That's just insane. They've lost musicians. Music songs tend to be about 3 to 5 minutes. And you used to be able to do a good cover and get like good exposure. You'd cover somebody else's song and in a different, unique way, and that would go. But it's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, right? All of those people have been screwed. The highly creative people have just been totally screwed because of the advertisers. And this bullshit about, oh yeah, YouTube cares about creators. No, fuck that shit, man. You guys don't give a shit about us.
Yeah.
Brian is talking about Twitch has jumped the shark because of all the female streamers. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. The thoughts. Oh, you hear Belle Daphne is back on Twitch? The chick who was selling the bathwater.
She's on Twitch?
Who sold out her bathwater. There wasn't enough bathwater to go around. Yeah, this thought is back on Twitch after a suspension. So she's coming back out there. There's going to be plenty of bathwater for those who are thirsty. This is the world we live in right now. I know. It's I mean, I can't blame her. If I was a young girl, I would probably be doing the same shit these women are doing, because it's only valuable for a couple of years. You get a lot of male attention. There's always a couple 100 million thirsty guys out there willing to spend whatever, the £5 or £10 a month for this shit. Fuck yeah. If I was a 21-year-old girl, I'd be fucking rolling in it, man.
Right. Huh. But man.
Thoughts of destroying Twitch. Yeah, Brian, you're not off, man. You know, I don't even watch Twitch. I should have invented Twitch, which is why I'm upset with it.
there was a thing, what was it? I think they were trying to do like a slut stream or something to protest being objectified on Twitch.
Oh god, these women have no self-awareness, no like I was watching a video today. I think it was a Donovan Sharp. Actually, yeah, because I posted it on YouTube, on my Facebook, and he made a very good point. I don't know if I've heard anybody else say this. Women stop maturing the minute they realize they have sexual power over men, which usually happens around 13, like 12 or 13. You know, men want to sleep with them. Right? So their need to mature kind of stops, which is why you get women in their like 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, something like I know a couple late 30s women who are basically still acting like teenagers. And the reason for that is because they've had no reason to mature beyond that, because they've kind of reached their objective, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it's a weird thing. I know we talked a little bit about like kind of preferences when it comes to dating.
Yes.
And funny enough, certain types of I guess backgrounds that I look at,
yes,
I tend to see as better. Like I tend to relate with people that basically have had, you know, you want a girl that's like, you know, a certain way, but at the same time it's like, well, be nice if she had a little hardship under her belt.
Sure. And this is like they talk about the late bloomers, girls who were not pretty attractive when they were younger, but they became attractive later on in life. Those tend to be higher quality women because they've had more time to mature. They've had to learn other skills to compete in the sexual marketplace, right? So the ugly duckling syndrome is sometimes what they call it. Completely agree. In fact, some of the best women that I've seen who were good looking as well as had like some credentials have all been late bloomers in that respect.
Right.
The dumpster fire I'm in right now with this WhatsApp group that I'm in with a couple of chicks, and it's only getting bigger and worse and stinking of more shit. They're all there. You can see they're all fucking teenage girls. These you know, they're all in their like 30s and late 30s, but they're fucking teenage girls. This is the shit. And that's what it was. They've stopped maturing. And when they realize they're no longer viable as much, that's when they start to remature, right? The brain kicks in like, oh shit, we can't just like get attention by being, you know, we got to do shit. Yeah. And that's what you always hear it. You hear these like women like, oh yeah, you know, and when I get older, men are going to appreciate me for my wisdom. I was like, yeah, keep telling yourself that, bitch.
Oh geez, that's actually pretty good. Now Brian brings up a thing about Stefan Molyneux has been doing some great tweets and YouTube videos about SMV and female nature. Have you seen these?
I've seen one of them. I can't remember which one. I didn't know he's putting out a series of these, but yeah, I mean, what he's saying is true about, you know, you're gonna don't waste your 20s. Basically, I saw one like that. Like, you're only fertile for a certain number of years. By the age of 30, 90% of your eggs are dead. the chance of reproducing is harder and harder, and all of that is true. So yeah, I've been seeing those things. I've even seen not Lauren, is it Lauren Chen? Is that her name? Millennial
Roaming
millennial. Yeah, is that her name?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Formerly known as Roaming Millennial.
Formerly known as Roaming Millennial. I saw her put out a video, and I think I shared it, basically saying why men prefer younger women. And she actually got into this, like fertility, men prefer, all of these different types of things and stuff like that. My comment to that is like, wow, imagine my shock. Men like young women. Oh, fuck. Revelation knowledge. But that message is spreading. Hopefully it spreads more, because women need to fucking hear this. For some of them it's too late, but maybe we can save some.
Yeah. Did you see Stefan Molyneux is going to be speaking at a certain convention?
Well, he spoke at the last one, and I believe the Sultan interviewed him, because I've seen that come up on my YouTube before. I didn't watch it.
I'm not sure if he actually did.
Yeah, he was at the 21 convention.
I think he attended.
Oh, maybe that was the case. Maybe he didn't speak, but
yeah,
interesting.
He's now a
featured speaker. I mean, he is a personality. He is a famous person. I understand why. But I don't think he has much to offer men.
Yeah, in terms of Red Pill,
there's not much he can add.
The Manosphere event of the century, the Red Pill Summit, all of that.
No. I don't think there's much he can add. But to be fair, another speaker that I don't think could add anything was Socrates. I don't think he can add anything. I mean,
yeah. Also known as his Twitter handle, Manning Up Smart.
Right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, everything about the Manosphere is kind of out there. I don't think we're not really cutting edge on anything. The reason you go to one of these conferences is you want to fine tune this area of your life, whether it's clothing, health, pickup, whatever. So you go there to get hands-on tweaks.
They're not even going that way anymore, though.
And this is what I was about to say, is that this particular, the collaboration of people there, I don't see filling that need. The only person I still respect there would be Jack Donovan, right? So Start the World, The Ways of Men. He's in a suit, man. He was looking pretty jacked in that suit, man. So I would not mess with that man at all. Like, I would go there to meet him. But I'd probably find some other event that he's going to, and I will meet him there, because everybody else on that roster I don't care about. But I wouldn't mind Donovan. I still enjoy his commentary. I know he has some shit in the background, but for some reason I like his take on the news. I like his take on shitting on feminists and stuff like that. That is pretty cool.
Yeah. I remember, let's just say a certain author put out a thing like, what was it? He put out a tweet about Stefan Molyneux, like, what is it? Something along the lines of like, I told you so kind of thing, or tell me I'm right, or something. Basically, with the 21 convention starting to bring in.
You said the name.
Oh boy.
We're gonna be red flagged. We're gonna be like copyright striked. Anthony will strike down on us with great vengeance.
Yeah. But it's the whole that whole thing. I mean, they started to bring in Stefan Molyneux, and I think they're even bringing in Mike Cernovich. It's like it's becoming more of let's get like exposure and celebrity rather than let's get content and like real meat and potatoes. Like, let's get something in there. But nope, we're gonna. Reminds me of some of our past, doesn't it, Brooke?
Yeah. A couple of groups we were involved in. It's the same fucking shit, man. You trade, content and substance for popularity, and I understand why people do it. It's a business. The 21 Convention, which we said twice now, I think if we say it 3 times, Satan will jump out of the monitor or your speakers and possess your soul. But yeah, when I understand he's got to sell it, he's got to get exposure. It's a very niche market. Red pill knowledge, it's circulated amongst the red pill aware men, MGTOWs, possibly some red pill aware women, but it's a tiny audience, to be honest. So I get it. It's a business decision, but how he went about doing the whole thing has been pretty shitty. And how he continues to deal with the issues surrounding the people he's expunged has been pretty shitty. That's why I don't really follow them anymore. It's another dumpster fire I don't need in my life.
So we're going to Hot Dude Con, right?
That's modernlifedating.com, isn't it? I think
he did it. So he did it as a meme. Like, he's going to go to Florida, and he was going to have this like meme of a convention called Hot Dude Con.
Yeah.
And then like 25 people like message him, DM them privately, like, hey, I'm gonna fly out to come hang out. So it's like one day they're all just gonna like hang out.
Right.
Yeah, I even saw a whole thing. So there's the what is it? International Convention for Men's Issues.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just looking for. The International Conference on Men's Issues it's in Chicago this year. Brian, I saw your message there, and I actually wanted to jump on that. August 16th, 17th, and 18th, 2019. So this is actually coming to an end today.
Yeah, I saw some basically Anthony retweeted them to say like, you guys, look like you need a little help. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the people in the men's rights activists, ironically, it's a lot of women now, which is kind of the world we live in now, have to end up speaking for men. They're all red pill aware. Like I interviewed a very active MRA out here in the UK. She goes by the name Natty. Anybody interested, you could check my channel. Fully versed in red pill knowledge. Fully. She knows Rollo Tomasi. In fact, she tried to appeal to him a couple of times when she saw some other feminist bullshit. She's like, oh, wow, these people need to read The Rational Male. And she tagged him in the tweet, and he shit all over her, like unnecessarily, just because she's a woman. Even though she's kind of siding with the issues that we had, he's not going to give an inch to any woman in the red pill community. And I understand why, because you give him an inch, they take a mile kind of thing. I understand his thinking. I thought it was pretty shit that he did that, though. And she actually pointed it back to me like, what is this? And it didn't look good. But he doesn't know her, fine, whatever. I get he's being protective, and especially given his dealings with Mr. Anthony, I fully understand why he's not exactly collaborating or trying to give anybody any cred. But yeah, this is a real thing. A lot of them know it. They're trying to tackle it in the political arena. They're trying to speak about divorce rights, parenting, equal parenting time. They're not really in like the manosphere. They're not trying to like build up men and all that. They're focusing on it from the political aspect. So it's a different arena in that respect.
That's what's interesting is I was talking to someone who considers himself a feminist, and they talked about like how the different waves of feminism, so like the first, second, third, and fourth wave, have all kind of had differences. So you had first wave feminism, which was just basically like voting rights.
Yeah.
You had the second wave that was kind of leading into, kind of tied in with the civil rights movement and such, and then
equal representation under the law.
Kind of have things like that. Those two were like genuine. Basically, were seen as like genuine political struggles. Like, hey, trying to get like some very basic like rights under the law and representation. That is, I think from a I guess a more, if you want to say, reformed egalitarian view is fine.
Sure.
Women want to vote, fine. If women want to like have representation, fine. just don't be surprised that you're still going to have more men that are going to be represented in certain roles of leadership.
Sure. I would love, well, I can't say I'd love. Not all women wanted the vote, which is ironic. You don't ever hear about that.
That was a thing, because the vote included the draft.
The draft, right? Which I think to this day they're still excluded from in the US.
Yeah. When Kamala Harris was trying to roast Kavanaugh in his appointment, she said, "Could you name one law where men basically don't have control over their own body?" He should have said the draft.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, he didn't know what she was going to say, so, but it's a very fair point.
Granted, yeah, it's a very pointed question she's giving. It's all about political maneuvering, all that.
Yeah.
So you have that. Okay, so they got the vote under weird circumstances, and then the whole equal representation and all this. But then, then third wave started to really push like the wage gap.
They started to go from equality to supremacy.
Well, it was so this feminist person I talked to, which considers himself like a second, third kind of in between, said that the problem with feminism is the radical push for making feminism a complete, like nowadays, making feminism a total political movement.
Yes.
And she was saying, well, it shouldn't be that. It should be like a lot of the issues that feminism is trying to confront nowadays is social issues that require social changes.
Correct. That can't be enforced politically.
Because she said, women should be, women should have the freedom to do things, but the way feminism push now is women should just do those things. Like if women want to work a job, I think women should, definitely should. Yeah, but she shouldn't. But if she doesn't want to, that should be just as okay.
Yeah, exactly. This is the female supremacy argument. So, well, before we move off on that, people forget this, right? It wasn't only women who didn't have the vote. Men who didn't own property also could not vote. Right, that's a skipped. Listen, I understand women got a raw deal, but believe you me, men got a worse deal. Right, the majority of men were not living in the palaces and in the realms of politics and industry. They were dying in coal mines and doing slum work and basically being.
Yeah. Where did you ever find women really doing a lot of this? Because even like if a woman, well, I mean. I think I saw a whole video that was talking about how like prostitution in the West was like one of the more empowering ththings women got involved in. Because women could make money, women could own land.
Yes. They owned brothels. It revolutionized a lot of the property rights and stuff like that, because that's where defending women's right to own property became a big issue, where a man could come in with a 6-shooter and blow her brains out, right? So they instituted a lot of law. I mean, there's a very rich history. So I'm not knocking what you're saying at all. I completely agree. But I think what's lost on that is, look, men had a pretty shit deal, right? Men are the top and the bottom of the scale. But more to your point with your feminist friend, I completely agree. Okay. They wanted to. Not all women wanted to vote. They got the vote. We can debate if we still want them to keep the vote, because they're not really serving humanity or civilization at this time. But all right, they've got the vote. But the third wave became a supremacy movement, where trying to correct quote unquote injustices of the past, they have now instituted affirmative action for women in legislation. Right?
Yeah. She was getting into saying like third wave started to dabble into trying to make political moves. I'd say it probably is. So if you ever seen the older Thomas Sowell videos?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
So some of the earliest
debunked years ago.
Yeah, the earliest sort of mention of the wage gap that he had to confront.
Yes.
I'd say that would be like third wave. Fourth wave is what we have now, which is full-blown political like push.
I would say that's second wave. I think the vote was the first. Equal representation under the law, meaning eradication of the wage gap. You cannot pay two people doing the same job different money. I think that's second wave. Third wave is what we're in now, and it's social chaos. It's basically undermining a meritocracy, right? They're basically saying, well, men are still outperforming women, even though we have all these equal rights and votes and whatever. So what we have to do is restrain men so that women have the opportunities. I think that's where we reach.
Okay.
That's generally how I understand third wave feminism. I might be wrong. It's not like I've ever done a gender studies course, but
no, she was saying that she called it fourth wave, which is full blown like the crazy radical feminism that we see today. Like there was a third wave that was a little more mild.
I don't think anybody would agree with that except feminists who are trying to push it forward, because the progression was there back in the 1970s with the Civil Rights Act and so forth, at least in the US. That's all second wave. That's all second wave, anti-discrimination laws, all that kind of stuff. What the third wave is now deconstruction of the meritocracy, because even though they've got all this freedom, they're still not doing well enough. So they've gone into the political arena to get affirmative action, supremacy for women. So that's the divorce laws, the rape laws, get all of the grants and all this money that's being siphoned from men to pay for women. That is third wave.
Right. Let's see here.
At least that's how I don't know.
Oh, feminism 101.
Yeah, Brian, I don't know what the fourth wave, I guess, is like what, social influence outside of the political arena, just like creating shit about manspreading. That all comes back to politics again, because they're trying to influence. They want to pass legislation to stop all of these social ills. I would say that's still third wave.
Fourth wave of feminism is emerging because mostly young women and men realize that third wave is either overly optimistic or hampered by blinders.
Maybe we should get a feminist on, and maybe your feminist friend will come on the screen and we can have a chat.
We'll talk about who this person is later.
Yeah. They're not doing this, right? I mean, between the sexual revolution, which was basically the advent of birth control, and for the want of a better word, feminism, totally is upset the human condition, and
that's the problem. Is birth control in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's what it did to society. That is, it's because it's always a lot of these overcorrections.
Correct.
We invent something, we're like, hey, this is a really great tool, and then it overcorrects what is perceived as a problem.
Correct.
Which could be solved all on its own. Because now we have this, and I hate at times trying to play out the the conservative argument of, just don't have sex, we'll have kids. Right. And especially when it comes to but even though even go as far to say get a condom, use birth control, take a pill, understand the risks and understand your effectiveness. And if it still doesn't work, it's you take responsibility kind of thing, because it's alleviated people of responsibility.
Correct. Women want all of the benefits of rights and money and all these things with zero accountability and responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, if because then now you have this inequality, and men can't just cut off from a woman, cut off from a child. He has child support. I mean, even like sperm donors.
I was about to say,
sperm donors are getting pulled into child support agreements.
Correct.
Well, not even an agreement. It's just forced into it.
I agree. There's another problem with the sperm donor issue that I don't know if you've heard this or not, but only 5% of sperm donors actually get used. And there are basically a bunch of kids by the same 5% of men out there Right? Like, and I believe me, it's the same shit. It's like 6 foot tall, multi-millionaire, jack tan, juicy as fuck kind of guys. But the problem is, if in the future these kids meet and they hook up, they have the same dad. Like, it's not going to be that easy to track because they don't know.
I mean, you have these problems. So you have, so women can get a sperm donor and get pregnant all on their own, take kid, have a kid.
Yes.
But then if a man wants to try to have like a surrogate, then there's a whole slew of problems where, he has to pay her, and possibly if she decides to keep the kid, there could be some argument where she could force him to like not see the kid. There's just all these things where basically you could screw the guy out of having a kid.
Yeah.
There's all these things that could screw the guy out of not wanting to see the kid, with child support, just child support. Alimony is a whole different thing. You have these things that were meant to balance the scales of, trying to push for this more egalitarian society in terms of laws and so just how we go about our social customs. And all it's ever done, for the most part, is overcorrect.
Yes.
And not really fix anything. If anything, exasperate some problems.
Correct.
I'd say that we have a huge, whether or not people want to argue like the morality of, is it murder to have an abortion? At the same time, should just at least I think I've even talked to people who are more the whole, like, they would never be pro-choice personally, but they would be pro-choice politically. They at least would say it is a very immoral, like a deeply immoral act. There is moral weight to an abortion.
Yes.
That's just, but so
is do with that. Yeah.
However people want to view that, we're still doing it so much, like, as a society.
I agree.
For something that even has a hint of being deep of immorality to it, that we do it so often and so irresponsibly.
Yeah. No, it's bad. It's definitely an issue.
It just kind of.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, okay. My headphones got a little muffled there, so I just hope I'm still coming through. This fucking laptop. Anyway.
So yeah. The egalitarian future that we all want.
I'm not sure I want an egalitarian future.
The egalitarian future that people want.
Yes, generally speaking. Yeah. Okay.
Probably not going to happen for a long time.
I'd agree.
Because you push all this stuff, and then what's going to happen? You get, I get a lot of problems. I know we talked about this last week. Was it on Thursday? One of the days we talked about the whole incel MGTOW thing.
Yeah.
And if I have a conversation with a woman and I'm like, hey, like, I'll basically, like, I was thinking of like some of those tweets where it's like me, hey, I think incels and MGTOWs are losers, and they're totally just screwing themselves over by continually living the way they live. And in women, we agree. Yeah, and I totally agree that, it's not women's responsibility to, have to sleep with them or do all this stuff to like keep them appeased or keep them happy. And it's like women are like, we agree. But I totally think it's a problem that women should consider. And then the immediate response is, fuck you, MGTOW incel. It's not our problem. And I was like, but if you reverse that, and I'm talking about like radical feminism.
Yes.
They'd be like, well, they got some things, and I can kind of see where they're coming from. Yeah, there's this, there's that, and there's the other. Even some of the most, even like the more I'd say kind of like the not they don't identify as feminists, but they would say they're like a strong, independent woman type. They would say kind of, women, feminism has, it's like they would still kind of think feminism has something going for it.
Yeah, they just don't know enough about it you know, they're still thinking back to like the suffragettes and whatever. And some of the suffragettes were fucking terrorists. They, you know, I mean, they burned shit down and all this other kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I completely, women do not have a, how do I say this? I'll just say solipsism is self-serving in that respect. Who was it that recently put out? Oh, it was Richard Cooper. He put out a video recently about the demands that women make versus the demands that men make. So we've discussed, you know, the women want the 6'6s, you know, they want the 6-pack abs, 6-figure salary, 6 foot tall, yada, 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 yada. But the minute a man spins around and says anything about what he wants, feminine, be able to cook, keep a home, you know, have children, whatever the case might be, you know, that's suddenly a throwback to the 1950s, you fucking Neanderthal. Like, you know, it's 2019, current year, get with the times. But women are perfectly fine airing their demands. And this kind of thinking, we see it translate throughout the society. So a woman abuses a man. I'm sure you've seen those videos where in public, a woman is like, you know, beating up her soy boy boyfriend or whatever the case is. Nobody does shit, right? In fact, people have done that on radio talk shows and whatever, and people laugh at the whole scenario, right? Of course, if it's a man abusing a woman in public, oh my God, white knights and everybody's, as they should, they put a stop to it. But men do not have that at all. And women, because of that, there's no reason to take accountability because they've got society on their side. You know, for this supposed patriarchy oppressing women are still protected tremendously on a societal level.
You ever see the video of what's his name? He's that he was on Mad TV. He's this Asian guy. Some crap. Let's see, Mad TV Asian guy. Type that in. Bobby Lee.
No, I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of Mad TV.
If you look him up, he's a comedian. Bobby Lee. I don't know. Anyways, Bobby Lee.
Oh yeah, he looks familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been on these shows and he's done a lot of comedy, but he's married to a full-blown gold digger.
Okay.
So he was on a radio show or a podcast or something, and he's talking, and it was basically this like full-blown like red pill. It's a thing a lot of guys will use for like showing, kind of teaching red pill. And so they come on and he's with his wife and they're talking, and she just goes, well, you know, he said something along the lines of like, you know, would you guys, that the host was like, would you guys still be together like if he wasn't as successful?
Right.
And she goes, no.
Really?
And then the husband, like, so Bobby like looks at her, like, wait.
Oh yes, I did.
Yeah. And then he's like, what? And she goes, yeah. And he was, oh, come on, you still love me though. And then she's like, well. And then basically said something along the lines of like every time she cries or she has some like, you know, she's feeling whatever, like he like throws money at her and she's fine.
That's a bad precedent to set, by the way.
And it's just like, and the host is basically like, all right, like had this like awkward moment, yes. And then just kind of moved on. That doesn't make it to the mainstream or anything.
Yeah.
But when you have someone like what's his name? DJ Khaled. Did you ever see where DJ Khaled said on air that he doesn't go down his wife?
Yeah. Because he's a king.
Regardless, I mean, you know, regardless of his sexual preferences, what he likes to do with his wife, whatever.
Sure.
The fact that he's just like, I do me.
Exactly. And that's unacceptable to
exactly.
women. And
then here's where you could go even further. I bet you if there was another way where like it was a guy mooching up a girl.
Oh, which has happened. Who is it that recently got that happening? It was an actor and an actress, and the actor was making less money and she had to pay him like alimony. right? And everybody was, screaming basically, "Oh, this is rape," and "Go and get a fucking job, you loser." And yeah, you don't hear that when the shoe's on the other foot. You don't hear that when the woman is getting alimony.
You don't hear about Oprah's boyfriend.
Oprah has a boyfriend? I don't follow Oprah.
She has this, well, they kind of call like a lifelong mate. She'll never get married.
Smart.
Because financially, that's just dumb. That's for her. But it's like, you don't hear about that.
Exactly.
But then you hear about like, how people want to shit on Leonardo DiCaprio because he's never dated a woman over 25.
Good on him.
Did you hear also the woman who like regretted not hooking up with him?
I didn't hear that story.
There was an article about Leonardo DiCaprio, some girl he was dated at one point. They never hooked up. And here she was 10 years later, married with 2 kids and basically hit the wall. Right. So she's fat with 2 kids. And she's basically said in some interview, she regretted not hooking up with him. Years after.
Alpha widow, man. Alpha widow.
He's not even the most alpha guy out there.
Well, I mean, the most alpha thing is not marrying them, right? that is pretty fucking alpha.
Well, yeah. There's that, but I mean, goddamn, like, so.
I could understand that.
You have these things that were meant to like kind of balance the, in terms of society, like, women can get the same access to certain things men can, or the other way around, and all it's turned into is just, it's like what it looks like driving down. It's like what it's like driving down a highway after a blizzard in Minnesota.
Right. Not everybody knows what that's like, so.
Everyone basically after a blizzard, as soon as a blizzard hits, not everyone is driving the smartest. So everyone's overcorrecting, and there's cars in ditches everywhere. There's
across the highway.
Exactly. You'll have I think it's like after right after a blizzard, like a full-blown really bad blizzard. I know like in a day or like 2 days or something, Minnesota saw like 300 cars in ditches or something.
Dang.
Like you're going down, so anyone who's commuting down any major highway is going to see 1 or 2, maybe more cars in ditches.
Yeah. That's what's going on.
It's everyone's overcorrecting and everyone's in a ditch.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, overcorrecting. You have all these problems that are coming about, and everyone's overcorrecting. It's like, oh, women don't have, the freedom to, not have a pregnancy. Well, here's birth control. Overcorrects in another direction. Well, here's birth control for men. Overcorrects in another direction. And then it's like, now there's abortion. Overcorrects in another direction.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that is society. It is a bunch of swings. And as I say, you get an inch politically, you get an inch, you take a mile, which is why there's always an extreme swing. So women,
a mile is a ditch.
Exactly. Women have had very favorable treatment from government and institutions in these other things, and it's never enough. They always want more, right? But I mean, to be fair, like if you're getting free money from the government, would there ever be enough? Like, have you ever heard? Not even government departments have enough. There's no such thing as a fully funded government department. They always need more, and that's human nature.
Yeah. Manipulating incentives.
Yeah, exactly, and they've won this round. Why would they stop now if they can keep going? You push it to the limit until, as men decide, okay, this shit has gone on long enough, and we start to push back. That's why there's so many of these wonderful feminists, in their 40s adopting cats now. So the fruit is being borne out, and we will see how this whole thing ends.
Here's the reality. People want to talk about like, so you have the conservatives that are telling like the feminist types like, oh, pro-choice is nonsense because you should just have the kid or give it up for adoption. Yes. And then the feminists want to point at the adoption problem because no one really adopts. The adoption process is kind of in the dark. No one really knows about it. Sure. Only the people who really want to adopt will adopt.
Sure.
It's not so readily like put out there. I think that comedian I had, Daniel Tosh, we listened to a while back.
Yeah, I remember.
He was like, oh, like, I mean, you see in all these, like, you walk out of a grocery store and you see, like, some pet adoption agency will have, or some humane society will have like dogs.
Yeah.
And he made this joke and he goes, what if kids? And he goes, hold on. So he starts like really trying to like, but like, that's the thing is like, you never hear about, oh, you take a left at the grocery store and you take a right at the orphanage. No one knows where the orphanages are.
Unless you're looking for that. But I mean, to be fair, like I don't know where the brothel is in my neighborhood either, right? So I know where the pizza joint is and the wine bar and the Welsh Harp but yeah, if like I wouldn't know where a yoga studio is either, just to kind of
you'll find one if you want to.
So China, if I had one.
So I just thought it's funny. It's like they'll basically like, that's their gotcha moment is, well, no one knows about adoption agencies and stuff. And it's like, I mean, then again, you never hear about cats not being adopted.
Correct. Well, I mean, that's a very interesting point. Is like adoption agencies are not allowed to advertise or something? Like what? That might be an interesting thing to look into because, as you say, people adopt pets all the time. They go to the vet and they pick up some cats or whatever the case is. Probably a lot of feminists doing that right now. But that, which is the better option? Kill the kid and an abortion or educate people on the options of adoption? I don't know. I'd go with the adoption, right? I think that might be a better use of fun.
Yeah, then there's the argument of, well, if you abort the kid, then you save the government money on like supporting the child for years to come.
Yeah, it's a fallacy. You don't know if the child is going to require government assistance for the rest of their life or whatever.
And then you get to
eventually they might become a taxpayer, and pay it off.
Yeah. Wouldn't the government want more taxpayers?
I know Denmark does. Denmark is actually trying to encourage Danes to fucking have kids because feminism has killed the country. Nobody wants to sleep with a Danish woman. And so the population is in decline. So thanks, feminism. Yeah. In fact, the video I put out today is this feminist, the one from Donovan Sharp. Feminist basically says she's been out of a long-term relationship for 5 years. Doesn't mean she hasn't been riding the car carousel. Hard feminist, cowbell thing in her nose, tattoo across her chest, clearly in her 30s. And she's now depressed that she's probably never going to meet somebody. And it's like, yeah, that's you've got all the signs that are basically you are radioactive. I'm saying I hope you like cats. I think that's a reality that's coming. So yeah, it's not great out there, man. It's not great out there.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, all right, we're a little bit over on time, actually.
Bro.
All right, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I think we've said enough. We'll definitely never be monetized on this channel. No, we'll keep fighting. Fighting. Yeah. They're gonna put us in YouTube jail pretty soon, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you everyone for joining us today. You can, of course, please do subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, like the video, click the bell icon so you're notified when we do go live and when we do put out when we pull clips. And then also, of course, if you do like the clips or the show episodes, share it with your friends. We could definitely use, I think a lot of people that are following us, we do have a pretty loyal following. Wouldn't you say, Brooke?
Definitely.
So yeah, definitely, share this with friends, family, maybe not family, I don't know.
Family friendly.
Anyways, thank you everyone for joining us. We will of course see you on Thursday, hopefully with a guest.
Yeah, if he's not, hopefully he's feeling better. So
okay. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Thanks for watching, everyone.